Hey everybody, Erica here with One Berkshire, and we are live for another Women in Business interview. This is actually our last Women in Business interview you're doing, so I'm very excited that Brooke Bridges is here.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about Brooke because she is a food entrepreneur. She's actually one of the entrepreneurs who participates in One Berkshire's Berkshire Starts program. So we have a great program for entrepreneurs. Brooke is one of the testaments to how it all works, and she's getting plugged into the network. Brooke does some amazing things in the region. She's new to the Berkshires.
Very new, yes.
So we're going to hear her story, and we're going to get a food demo because Brooke is a food entrepreneur.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about your business, and then we'll talk about you. So tell me about some of the things you do.
So right now I have two businesses. Your In-Home Chef is my personal chef company. So that is obviously, I go into people's homes. I will prep for them here at this kitchen and just make healthy food. And then I also have bagels. So over here is like my bagel prep. These are my sponges. So these are like the first round of my bagel dough. So these rise a little bit before I add them into the mixer with the other dough. And yeah, so I sell bagels in Pittsfield right now.
So we're gonna dig more into both of those things, but let's start with your in-home chef business. Okay, so we're in a commercial kitchen right now, and if you're not a food entrepreneur, you may not even know this, but like the first thing you have to figure out is where are you gonna cook?
Yeah.
You can't just cook out of your own house once you get to a certain level of commercial production.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you've been able to find a commercial kitchen.
Yes.
We're here in West Stockbridge at the Congregational Church, and there's a great commercial kitchen here. It's available if anybody else wants to get into a commercial arrangement here. This place is available. You're also talking about maybe going up to Tyler and Pine and working with Jess at her commercial kitchen.
She's awesome. Yeah.
So some potential there.
Yep.
So what is it like to have, like when you're a personal chef, what exactly does that mean? What do you do for people?
So it really varies. It started off in LA just as like cooking for people who didn't feel like cooking. So I would go to their house and cook for their kids and like put stuff in their refrigerator for the week. And now it's kind of evolving into more of a coaching, or what I hope to evolve into that, because I'm really big on mental health. So I want to like set up their menu that's really good for them as a whole person, and they can contact me and call me and email me. So it's more than just the food. Obviously food is the basis of good health. But then, just being able to integrate also kind of like life coaching in a way.
I'm so glad you're mentioning that because a lot of food issues do stem from emotional issues anyway. So you're looking at it holistically. Like, how can you help the whole person? Food is a part of it, but so are all those other emotional challenges.
Exactly.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so not yet, but we are going to do a demo of some chimichurri. She's going to show you her specialty way of making it. But before we do, I want to talk about your bagel business. Okay. So let's get back over here. So when I met you through, you had made some artisan bagels for an event that we were doing. And I found your bagels to be really unique. I know we don't have any here to show, but talk to me about kind of like what's your philosophy around making a bagel and how does that all work?
So I like to use the traditional New York style bagel way. I don't even know how this came to be because I'm from Los Angeles, and when I was in LA I did not eat carbs. And I never had made a bagel before I got here. So I just looked up a recipe. Before you came to the
Berkshires, you had never made a bagel?
One. Yep.
Oh my gosh. So did you just like have an insight that I need to be a bagel maker?
Yeah. And then the weird thing is too, like talk about synchronicity, like Bagels 2 just closed.
Yes, in downtown Pittsfield.
And I didn't know. Originally I had no clue. So I just picked up the longer process because it's very meditative for me. It was just something like for my mental health. I needed something to do with my hands and like, something to really get into, and also making a product from it is like pretty awesome. So I do the whole sponge, and then I put them in the fridge. I shape them and put them in the fridge overnight, boil them in the morning, and then bake them off.
She had to explain to me what a sponge is, so I'm going to have her do that again just in case you are also as confused with that term as I am. So what does sponge mean in the terms of bagel making?
So sponge is like a fermented dough, so you do the yeast and flour and water, and then it ferments so it gets like really bubbly, and it adds more of like a chewy texture. So that's like sourdough bread.
Sure.
It has like that chewiness, and it's kind of holy and stuff like that because they ferment that.
So this will sit here overnight?
I'm going to sit it overnight. You can do like 2 hours as long as it doubles in size, and it'll only develop the flavor more if you let it sit longer. So,
awesome. And so then when it goes from here, like when you were to come back and finish these bagels, what would be the remaining steps in your process?
So now I would just put these in the mixer with another like same amount of flour, and a little bit more yeast, and then salt and all those little flavoring things. And then I make the dough, I shape them, I put them in the freezer or the refrigerator, and then the next day I'll come back and bake them. So it's a really long process.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. And I love that you, at least the ones I saw of yours, you had hand shaped all those bagels.
Yeah, I hand shape them all.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to stick to that, even though it's going to be a lot
Take
of
a little
labor,
longer, yeah.
but I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it looks really cool when it comes out. I think I must have only ever eaten bagels that have been machine formed because yours looks so unique and like each one had its own character a little bit.
Right,
so
like artisan. Cool. That's why I like it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, so let's go back to the chimichurri and let's hear a little bit about your story. Like you already have made reference a couple times that you're from LA.
Right.
So what the heck? Like how'd you get here? What have you done before this? What made you come into the world of entrepreneurship?
So my mom is from Lee.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and she moved back like 3 years ago and was like, oh, you guys should come out here, to me and my siblings. And we were like, why? For what? And I was an actress in LA, so I saw no reason to come to a tiny little county. But then one day I looked up and I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm sitting in traffic all day. I'm going to auditions for 5 minutes to then sit in 2 hours of traffic to get home. And it didn't suit me anymore. So now I'm here, and entrepreneurship has always like been in my blood. Like when I was a little girl and I wanted a baby doll, I'd go to my dad like, hey, can I clean your car? Hey, can I clean the dishes? Hey, and all my family members, I would just go and see like what kind of things I could do to make money. So
wow,
that was just kind of in my blood. And food I've always loved. My dad was an amazing cook, and when he left, it was kind of like on me and my sister, so I just fell in love with it. Yeah, exactly.
And like you said, when you were doing your acting gigs, you were also cooking for people as a side job anyways, like going into their houses and cooking for their families and things.
Yep. And then I did meal prep too, where I had like online ordering, and it was really awesome. And then it got really crazy, and I couldn't keep up with it. Yeah. And then I left. So
you were going to rebuild it here, but maybe in a different way that's more sustainable for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm going to hire on chefs. I was at that point in LA, but I needed a lot of capital to be able to do that. And here I feel like I'll be able to kind of do it more slowly. Yes. Whereas there it's like if you do it or
you're in or you're out because the competition's so crazy.
And everything's so expensive. And so I can't like quit my job and like, it's a lot harder out there.
Cool. So the message here is if you want to be an entrepreneur, come to the Berkshires. That's what I heard you say.
Yeah. Come. We need young people. Let's go. Let's do this.
So let's see this demo. All right. Okay. So how would you make chimichurri? If you want to try this at home, if you're in the office, don't try this at home. But if you're watching this at home, why not? Grab a bowl. Grab what are the ingredients here?
So we have parsley, we have oregano, green onion, olive oil, kosher salt. I would normally put some red chili flakes, but my client doesn't really like spice. So basically you just mince it. You can also put it in like a food processor if you want it really fine. I kind of like to have a little more
knife skills with Brooke. She has figured out this genius way not to cut her fingers off.
Well, if you know me personally, I've cut myself plenty of times. But it happens,
Wow, that smells good.
Yeah, that's the oregano. Then this is the flat leaf parsley. So we're just gonna mince that up a little bit. And like I said, you can put it in the food processor. You can also put it in the food processor with the olive oil, and it gives it kind of a creamier texture. But I kind of like it where it's like a little bit separated. So then you do the green onions.
So like separated meaning like a little chunkier?
Yeah. Like so you'll see when I put the olive oil in, it's like separate rather than being like mixed up in like all green and kind of a. So I'm gonna put a little bit of kosher salt, and then you kind of just put in the olive oil.
This is how you know when you're a real chef. You stop having to measure anything. You just eyeball everything.
See, that's the funny thing too, because I'm a chef and a baker, and they usually don't. That usually isn't a thing. They usually hate each other because the bagels are very precise, and cooking is just not.
So you don't eyeball when it comes to bagels.
No. Definitely measuring cups. So normally I would spoon this over this if I was plating it, but since they're eating it later, I'm gonna put it in this little container here, and then they can kind of heat that up, and then compose the plate themselves.
And what is this meal that you've made for your client?
So this is a flat iron steak and broccoli. So really simple, really healthy. You just sear the steak and then you put it in a 275-degree oven for 20 minutes, a little bit longer depending on how they like it. She likes hers a teeny bit more well done, so it's about a medium. So I kept it in there for 20 minutes. And then she can just spoon that right on top and she'll be good to go. Exactly.
Awesome. So tell me, along your path, have you run into anything that's been a challenge or something you've had to face where maybe you've grown or learned from that experience?
Yes. So for me, I'm, for one, self-taught, and for two, young. So in LA, getting gigs was kind of difficult. Once the people met me, it was a little easier because I always say, just be yourself, be honest, genuine, and when you're doing that and have confidence in yourself, your food's going to taste good, or whatever you're doing is you're going to be able to show that,
Yeah, the confidence is contagious too. People will trust you more when you trust yourself more.
And then you just talk to them like human beings. I don't look at a client like a client. I look at them like a person. So there's not that weird veil of I'm going to talk to you like a client. So, and that's really how I got a lot of my jobs is just being friends with people.
Nice.
And they're like, cool. I like you.
I like you. Come cook
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, exactly.
Nice. Awesome.
Yeah.
And then what about words of wisdom? I mean, that was one piece of advice. Do you have any other things you've learned along the way that you could share with us that we could learn from you?
The main thing for me, like the biggest hurdle was always fear in like everything I did. And once I was like, you know what, screw it. I just say screw it, because if you fail, you know, nothing really bad is going to happen to you. If you don't try, you're always going to wonder, what could have happened. But if you try and you fail, at least you know. And like, so for me, just doing that, and sometimes I had no money, like I had 10 cents in my bank account. But then, you know, you're like, all right. And then you go out and you get another job, or you go out and you do whatever you need, and that builds confidence.
Yeah.
So every time you fail, really, like for me, you just build a new level of confidence.
Because you proved yourself you can come out of it.
Exactly.
And you're okay.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah. That's so wise. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And the last question I like to ask people is, are there any women in business? I know you've only been in the how long have you been in the Berkshires?
A little over a year.
A year. So have you been able to meet any women in business in the Berkshires so far who have been inspirational to you?
Absolutely. Yuki Cohen.
Oh, yay.
From Methuselah.
Yep.
She was one of the first people I met because I live right above there, and I went down to her, I think the first day I got here, the first night I got here, and met her, and I was like, oh my god, she's awesome. And it just so happens she knows my grandfather.
Oh,
so,
nice.
and yeah, she inspires me because like she has kids too, and she's running businesses, and I just think that's amazing. And then Jess over at Tyler and Pine and Dottie's, she also inspires me because she's young and owns 2 businesses, and also has kids, and like she's just doing it, and she's just jumping in, and she's, you know, making changes where she needs to make changes so she can be successful. And
all women who are really working to make the Berkshires a better place too, just by the efforts they're putting in. It's contagious.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so we're glad you're here because I can already tell you're another one of those who's going to help propel the Berkshires forward because of your energy and positive attitude and enthusiasm.
That's the goal.
So the thing I want to end with is I want you to promote yourself a little bit. Like if people wanted to, what could people do with you? Could they hire you as a personal chef?
Absolutely.
How would that work?
So if you want to hire me as a personal chef, I do pretty much any diet. So you can email me, or you can write me on Facebook or Instagram. I'm all over the place. She's going to tag me on here so you can see my Facebook.
Yep.
And yeah, if you need, like this is ketogenic, so for this diet it's full fat, lots of protein, no carbs. And I kind of just tailor it to what the client needs. And if you need a one-time, like a one-off, just like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be home, I need some food for this weekend or whatever, I can do that. I do dinner parties.
So you will do larger groups, parties? Okay, cool.
Yep.
And then tell me about your bagel. Let's go to your bagel business. Like where could people find your bagels, or do they just hire you to make a custom party order, or how does it work?
So the bagels, like that's the in-between, because I sold at all the farmers, or the Pittsfield Farmers Market, and did really well there.
So they can find you at the farmers market.
Right.
And the Pittsfield Farmers Market also has an indoor component, so no matter what season.
So it's the second Saturday of every month.
Excellent.
So it's only once a month for the winter.
Cool. But you'll still be there cooking, or your products will be there. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep. Yeah, and then otherwise I'm trying to get into cafes. Dottie's will probably be the first one.
Yay.
And then I'm also trying to get into like the Berkshire Co-op. So I'm trying to do wholesale. So that's the next.
So would it be helpful for you if anybody watching this had a connection at? Yeah. So like what would be your wish as an entrepreneur? Like how could people help you?
I would love to get a few accounts for the bagels. So like On a Roll Cafe, or you know, really any cafe in the area, any small grocery stores, so I can do wholesale. If you have any connections, I'd love to drop off some samples, and then we can go from there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for getting to know Brooke. You can find her on the Facebook page that we've tagged above, and if you would like to work with her, there are lots of opportunities to do that.
Absolutely.
And thank you, Brooke, for being our Women in Business interview for today and our final one of our whole series.
I know.
So we ended on a very high note here, and great positivity, great new young energy coming into the Berkshires. Just another great example of people moving here because this is a great place to be.
It really is. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So we're signing off. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.